going on, everybody? Tom here, and today I want to talk with you about a stress management technique that I learned from a Navy SEAL about 6 years ago. So this technique that I'm referring to is called box breathing. I first heard about this from Mark Devine, former Navy SEAL, owner of SEALFit, Mark Devine, at his Kokoro camp. And the Kokoro camp is basically a weekend long, 48 to 50 hours. You don't stop moving. You kind of go and see what you're made out of. You don't sleep. And it was a tough weekend. But one of the stress management techniques that Mark Devine sort of taught to the group is this concept of box breathing. So basically you would use your breath to manage your sort of arousal response, your stress response, by breathing in a manner that would sort of trace a box. So you would breathe for, say, 3 seconds in, hold it for 3, exhale for 3, pause for 3, right? And you can change that. You could be 4 seconds or 5 seconds, or 10 even. But the idea is that you're breathing in, holding your breath, breathing out, and then holding it all for the same consistent length of time. And that's something I've always continued to practice, is breathing in, using the box breathing technique to kind of manage stress, manage your response to stressors in everyday life. And it's proven very valuable over the years. So one thing of note is that your tongue should sit right behind your front teeth. That's sort of the default, like, home base position for the tongue. Right up there. I don't know if you can see that, but right behind your teeth. And then you would breathe through your nose, so it would look something like this. So you would breathe in through your nose, hold it, and then exhale through your nose in order to access your diaphragm, right? Basically what's also called belly breathing. So you want to breathe deep into your belly, almost thinking of like pulling your breath down to your belly or down to your feet, however you want to think of it. Instead, because what happens is a lot of times we breathe very high. We're chest breathers, and that's sort of the emergency breathing response that humans have, is breathing, high in your chest, breathing through your mouth. In the Army, we call that mouth breathing, where you're like, you don't want to be known as a mouth breather in the Army. And as funny as that may sound, it's actually because they know the power of breath in controlling the stress response, and mouth breathing creates the emergency breathing that heightens stress, gets everyone jazzed up. But if you close your mouth and breathe through your nose, almost by default, you have to breathe into your diaphragm. You have to breathe into your belly, and that's a great way to manage stress. So how can you do this in your everyday life, and how do I recommend getting started if you're not well versed in the art of breathing deep? So start with 2 seconds or so. Really keep it very simple, and maybe try to go for 1 minute per day. Wake up in the morning before you rush off to work. Just maybe take 1 minute, do a few iterations of 2-second box breathing. So again, you'd breathe in for 2 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, slowly exhale for 2 seconds, pause for 2 seconds. And that would complete one cycle. You can run through, 5, 6, 7 cycles of that. It's not going to take you very long, but what this will do is give you better control of your stress response. It'll allow you to stay in control instead of being reactive to things around you. And that's really important, especially in this day and age when people are kind of chronically stressed out and everyone's frantically going all over the place. No one takes the time to breathe anymore, and that's really too bad. But now that you know that, you will. So again, I challenge you, maybe start with 1 minute, 2-second iterations of the box breathing, and just go from there. You can progressively add more time. You can progressively add longer intervals to the box breathing. But it's really powerful. Controlling your breath, learning how to control your breath is very, very powerful in helping you manage the stress response, keeping a clear head, keeping mindfulness, and just kind of not being in that reactive state all the time. It gives you a chance to settle down and think and have clarity. So that's my challenge to you. Try out box breathing. Again, this isn't my technique. I learned about this from former Navy SEAL Mark Devine So you could Google him, Mark Divine box breathing, if you want way more information than this. So thanks so much. Talk to you guys soon.